But I'm here, even broken, I'm here. So carry me through this moment. I'm trying my best, but some days I'm breaking, some days I'm blessed, carrying a weight that sits on my chest.
For 20 years, Victoria Alexander was the constant in Brandon Alexander's life. The wife, the mother, the one who kept showing up even when things stopped making sense. The kind of woman who builds a life brick by brick while pretending the cracks aren't spreading underneath. 2 kids, shared history, memories stacked so high they start to feel like obligation instead of love. And while she was out here evolving, going from job to job until she finally locked into nursing, chasing a dream that meant something, her marriage was doing the exact opposite. Rotting quietly. No explosion, no dramatic ending. Just a slow, silent collapse that she finally got tired of holding together by herself. And when she made the decision to leave, that's when the real story started. Because walking away from a relationship is one thing. Walking away from a man who thinks you belong to him is something else entirely. While Victoria was planning her exit, rebuilding her life, stepping into a future that didn't include him, Brandon was spiraling in real time. Not privately, not quietly, publicly. 8 videos, back to back, sitting in the dark, crying, playing music like the internet was supposed to piece together what was happening inside his head. I can't know more. It's over, broken beyond repair. And then the one that should have made everybody stop scrolling, my last ride. Not a metaphor, not a lyric, a warning dressed up like content. 2 hours later, he turned that performance into a crime scene. Because while people were watching, sympathizing, maybe even ignoring, he was already moving, already on his way to her job, already committed to a decision that had nothing to do with heartbreak and everything to do with control. He made sure that if she was done with him in life, she wouldn't exist without him. And just like that, 20 years turned into a headline, 8 videos turned into evidence, and a man's pain turned into a woman's ending. Welcome to the American Crime Femicide channel. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for future uploads.
Dear Diary, a pretty face can turn heads, and a fat ass can turn a man on. But one thing a man can't resist is a woman with substance, with confidence.
Victoria and Brandon played house like it was a lifelong contract signed in blood instead of ink. And for a while, it worked, at least on the outside. Pandemic hit, the world slowed down, and somehow they were still moving forward. She was grinding through nursing school, chasing a dream that didn't just belong to her, but to her mother too, while he stayed busy doing whatever version of figuring it out he called designing shoes and bouncing between jobs. 2 sons growing up fast, learning to drive, going to prom, inching toward adulthood, and somehow, in between all that, they were still forcing family nights like everything was stable. Golf outings, parasailing, dinners out. Little curated moments to convince themselves that this was still a solid family, not one quietly cracking underneath the pressure. Victoria didn't look like a woman drowning. That was the thing. She danced through it, literally. While life demanded everything from her, motherhood, school, responsibilities, she made it look like a TikTok highlight reel. Dancing in the kitchen, dancing at work, dancing in the car like bills, stress, and a failing marriage weren't sitting right there in the passenger seat. She smiled like nothing could touch her, posted her locked journey with pride, celebrated every inch of growth like it meant something deeper than hair.
Y'all better come up here and get one of these. What's that? It's a girl with locks.
Bitch, my hair ain't never been like this. I got every motherfucking right to be hyped, bitch.
And when she finally announced she graduated, March 1st, 2023, license secured, dream achieved, future loading. You could almost hear the relief through the screen.
I hate school, but I always knew this day would come.
She did it. She really did it. A licensed practical nurse. A woman who finally reached a point where life was supposed to start getting easier, or at least make sense. But life has a nasty habit of letting you reach the finish line just so it can move it again. Meanwhile, Brandon's world didn't look the same. Where Victoria was light, he leaned into darkness, online at least. Conspiracies, politics, money talk. The kind of content that sounds deep until you realize it's just noise dressed up as knowledge. His TikTok wasn't joy, it was tension. And somewhere over the years, that difference started to matter. The love they built over 2 decades didn't explode overnight. It faded quietly, like a light bulb dimming until one day you realize you've been sitting in the dark the whole time. By late 2025, it was over. Not officially on paper yet, but over in every way that counts. Victoria moved out, staying with family, trying to juggle motherhood, a fresh career, and the emotional cleanup of a 20-year relationship that didn't survive real life. The boys stayed behind, finishing school. Stuck in the middle of a situation nobody prepares kids for. 20 years, reduced to logistics and awkward transitions. And here's where the story always takes that familiar, dangerous turn. Because leaving a relationship is one thing. Leaving a man who built his identity around you, that's something else entirely. Brandon didn't process the separation, he unraveled. Some say he cheated, some say he changed. Some say she simply outgrew him. Honestly, it doesn't matter. What matters is this: she was done, and he wasn't. And when a man decides your decision doesn't count, that's when things get dangerous. He didn't want counseling. He didn't want closure. He wanted control. Wanted her back under the same roof, same routine, same version of life, where he didn't have to accept reality. But Victoria had already made her decision, and every time she told him no, it chipped away at whatever fragile grip he had left on himself, until eventually, he stopped trying to fix it and started thinking about ending it. April 13th wasn't just another day. It was a warning that nobody caught in time. Brandon uploaded 7 TikTok videos, sitting in the dark, crying, breaking down piece by piece on camera like the internet was his therapist. Sad songs, tired captions, that same recycled language of being broken, lost, done. The kind of content people scroll past every day without realizing sometimes. It's not for attention. It's a preview. Maybe he wanted someone to notice. Maybe he wanted Victoria to see it and feel something. Guilt, sympathy, anything strong enough to pull her back in. But she didn't. And that silence, that's what sealed it. His final video showed him driving through the dark, captioned, "My last ride." Not poetic, not deep, just literal. A man documenting the end before anyone realized it was already happening. Because while people were double tapping his pain, he was already on his way to her job. Sitting in that parking lot like a man with a plan, not a broken heart. Waiting, watching, calculating. Victoria was just showing up to work like she had worked so hard to be able to do. A nurse, a mother, a woman trying to rebuild her life one shift at a time. She had no idea that the same man she spent 20 years with was about to turn her workplace into a crime scene. Surveillance showed him blocking her car and forcing an interaction she never asked for. Entering her vehicle, leaving notes like this was some twisted closure moment instead of what it really was, a setup. And then, when a bystander interrupted, asked him to move his car like this was just a normal inconvenience, not the beginning of a tragedy, he adjusted. Because men like that always do. Plans don't stop. They shift. He followed her inside, into the very place that represented her future. And that's where he ended it. Multiple shots. No hesitation. No pause to think about the years, the children, the life they built. Just gunfire echoing through a building where people go to heal. And then, just like that, he turned the gun on himself because accountability was never part of the plan. Victoria died there, on the scene. A woman who spent years working towards something better, gone before she could even fully live in it. Brandon? He was taken to the hospital, clinging to life just long enough to complete the story the way he wanted, centered on him.
Violence that has left people badly shaken at this rehabilitation and nursing center. A beloved nurse killed in what's being described as a domestic confrontation. People appeared distraught outside the Escalation Rehabilitation and Nursing Center this morning, soon after shots rang out inside the facility on Delilah Road in Egg Harbor Township.
Can you please in the area? Could be for multiple GSWs.
Sources with knowledge of the incident tell News 4 a man shot and killed his estranged wife, a nurse at the facility, before shooting himself. That left him critically wounded.
Somebody's shot in there, yeah. It's concerning.
It's a very terrible, terrible thing to happen.
In a statement, the facility's administrator said in part, "We are deeply saddened by the heartbreaking death of one of our beloved employees. This was an isolated incident and our residents were not endangered."
It's very upsetting because this is a very nice and friendly atmosphere.
Other employees and those visiting residents arrived to find police blocking the driveway and an active investigation underway. These two cars were towed away from the scene. Excelcare says it has a strict no weapons policy.
Brandon was declared dead the next day. And this is the part nobody likes to say out loud. This wasn't about love. It never is. Because love doesn't stalk you in parking lots. Love doesn't block your car, follow you into work, and shoot you because you chose yourself. That's control. That's ego. That's a man who saw your future and decided if he couldn't be in it, it shouldn't exist at all. And the real irony, just months before, he posted about losing multiple family members, talking like nothing could shake him, like he didn't care who stayed or left. Turns out, he cared a lot, just not in a way that allowed her to live. So now what's left? 2 sons without their mother, a career that barely got to begin, a life that was finally aligning, cut short because someone else couldn't handle being left behind. And somewhere in all of this, people will still ask the same tired questions. Why didn't she see the signs? Why didn't anyone stop him? As if accountability is a group project instead of landing exactly where it belongs, on him, on Brandon Alexander. Because Victoria did everything right. She worked, she loved, she endured, and when it was time to leave, she left. And for that, for choosing herself, she paid with her life. May Victoria Alexander rest in peace.